Friends, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Nikki. I'll put my usual video on the screen showing you how to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you're notified of my almost daily uploads. I always say this, but I upload about 4 to 5 times a week on this channel, so you have to hit the bell. You can't just subscribe. Hit the bell and it'll notify you when I upload. We're going to talk about eBay today. eBay has been great to me lately. I've been doing a lot of eBay update videos because I've told you guys I've been selling on eBay for 10 years part-time, and 2020 has been like the wildest year for me with eBay, but I've really been trying to diversify these last couple years of what I sell. I initially started just selling clothing, and about 4 or 5 years ago, I just started selling everything. As you will see in this video, a lot of my higher profit sales are not clothing. A lot of them are just everything you can think of and some clothing. So I'm going to show you all that. What else? I'm officially 9 months today. I would show you my belly, but I just look ridiculous. I'm currently in a crop top that I have no business wearing. So if you're interested in like birth vlogs, baby content, new mom family stuff, I'll leave the vlog channel linked down below. I have a beauty channel. Let's jump into it. I will put pictures of everything over my pretty roses. So let us start. This first item, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I saw it at the thrift store and I was like, I don't even know what that is, but that just looks like it's worth money. It has a very long name. It's the EVGA blah 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 GeForce. Basically, it's a gaming video card. Now, I always tell my eBay selling friends, if you're just selling clothing or if you're just selling one type of thing, check out the entire store, especially if you're a thrifter like I am. Check out everything and you just look things up. So I was just like, that looks like it's, I saw it at the thrift store. It was marked for like $5, you guys. $5. This thing sold for $250.99 within an hour of me listing it. So from what I can gather, it's a gaming video card. I thought it was just a fan, but I guess those things you're seeing are like the fans on the car. Listen, I still don't know a lot about it. I looked it up. Thank God it had not an identification number, but it had a number and it had the name on it and it had the box. Because without that, I probably wouldn't have known what the heck this was. But these things are very popular, and I listed it as new with open box because it was brand new. I mean, it looked like, I looked up ones that were used. It did not look used at all. I probably could have gotten more for it because from comps that I've seen, they usually sell from like $300 to $500. The comps are wild. Usually don't see that much of a variance in comps, but like some of them sold for $3. Some of them sold for closer to $5. I probably should have waited it out, but I was just so excited to take $5 and make $200. Well, not $250 profit. Remember eBay fees and everything, but I mean, come on. So friends, branch out, look at all areas of the store. I had no idea what this was, and I just thought I'm gonna look it up. So now I have an eagle eye for these things. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen them before, but I don't recall. But now if I see it, I will know to pick it up. Now this one, when I saw it, I knew. I was like, this thing looks amazing. So this is I don't know if you're supposed to say vintage phone, but it looks like a vintage phone. So I looked it up. It's a Western Electric, it's a dial metal antique telephone, and it was made circa like in the 20s, you guys. This thing was so cool. I wanted to keep it, but I was like, what am I ever gonna do with this? This is another thrift store find. They had this marked up. They knew. Whoever priced this knew, I guess, that this was a classic, but it was marked at I think it was like $22.99. It was some weird price. I was like, why didn't they just put it at $25? It was like $21.99 or $22.99. I picked it up, I cleaned it up. It was a little bit dusty, cleaned it up, and it sold. This is another one that sold for $250. So basically I'm gonna be telling you 4 items that sold for $250. This sold for $250, and this did take a while to sell. Well, not really. I mean, it sold. You guys. Pregnancy brain, I cannot talk. These whole 9 months, for those of you that have been watching me these last 9 months, I promise you I'm not usually this much of a babbling idiot. Once the baby comes out, I'm hoping that my brain will go back to normal. This sold 3 weeks after listing it, and that was a great profit. I don't find these things very often, like vintage phones in LA. What I usually find are like phones that you see from like the 90s. I should actually start looking those up. I just look at them and I'm like, I'm not practicing what I preach to you guys because I don't look up comps on those because I just assume they're not worth anything. But hey, they might actually be worth something. But I find a lot of like home phones from like the 90s, the early 2000s. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you still have a home phone? When we moved into this apartment, they required us to get a home phone line because it's like a bundle. You know, I think a lot of cable providers do that for your cable, internet, and phone. But then when we cut off our cable, I think we still have a home phone line, but we don't actually have a phone. My boyfriend wanted to get one, and I was like, for what? But why? We have cell phones. And he's like, you know, just as like a backup emergency phone. I'm like, do people still do that? I know older people do. In my life, like when I say older, I mean like my grandparents have a home phone, but I don't even think my dad does. I don't know. I just know a lot of grandparents have home phones. Those are only really the people I know that have them. But yeah, I'm interested. Do you have a home phone? And I'm not saying you're old if you have a home phone, obviously. But what do you do with it? I sound like such a millennial. Let me just go to the next slide. All right, friends, this is a Bolo faux show. You guys know I get corny when I say that. I need to find something that rhymes with Bolo, but this brand is Samantha Sung. I had never heard of this brand. Apparently, it's sold at websites like The Real, Saks Fifth Avenue, I think Bloomingdale's, but I for sure I have seen it at Saks Fifth Avenue. But then they have their own website, and you can actually order dresses made to order. And from what I've seen, they've actually, quite a few celebrities have worn this dress. I found this at a thrift store. It was marked up, but it was brand new with tags, you guys. It retailed for $500, and they were only charging $25. And I say only because here in LA, anything new with tags, they tend to mark up like ridiculous amounts. So I was just surprised that new with tags, it said $500, and they didn't mark it up to like, I've seen them mark things up, honestly, to $100 in a Goodwill. But it was only $25, and this is the Audrey 1 shirt dress. And from what I've been able to tell, like you can custom order the different dresses. Some styles have different names, like Audrey 1, I think there's Audrey 2, and then you can select the print. They're really like feminine, like think traditional feminine, flirty, floral, bright. They're really pretty. I was tempted to keep this. It was a women's size 8, and it sold literally, I'm not kidding you guys, within like 2 hours of me listing it. And this also sold for $250. I kind of regret not keeping it because it's just so, I'm not really into florals, but it just felt like really good quality. It felt like one of those dresses you could wear for years and years, and I could resell it later or I could pass it down to someone, but I'm glad I flipped that. So that's definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. I had never heard of this brand until I just happened upon it one time in Santa Monica in a random thrift store. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I always recommend for clothing resellers or anybody who, yeah, if you sell clothing mostly, go and look at some websites that you maybe just go and look at brands on websites. I was going to say, well, look at websites for maybe you don't shop on. Like, for example, go to Saks Fifth Avenue. I don't go there very often, maybe like twice a year. And I'll just go and look at new arrivals. And I learn so many brands that I have never heard of. And so then when I'm out sourcing, it kind of like sparks a memory. Like, I remember that brand from somewhere. So this is a good one to take a look at. But yeah, I do that a lot with different websites like Revolve. They sell so many brands that have a cult following. I do it there. Saks Fifth Avenue. A lot of the higher end department stores that I just don't frequent. It's not, I was going to say it's funny. It's kind of sad. They closed in Beverly Hills. They had a Saks Fifth Avenue and a Neiman Marcus. I think they closed Saks Fifth Avenue and Barney's. Like even those higher end retailers are struggling right now. So anyways, that was a great flip. Here's another one I found at the thrift store. This men's Scully Black Lamb blazer. Had never heard of this brand before. It was brand new with tags at the thrift store. They had it marked for $25. I just touched it and immediately knew. I was like, this feels like amazing quality. This has to be real leather, real lamb, real something, and it was. So it's lamb leather. Try to say that fast 10 times, but I just knew. That's why I tell you guys when I go to the bins, God, I haven't been to the bins in a long time. I kind of miss it. I don't wear gloves, even post-COVID, because I always find cashmere and silk at the bins. And if I was wearing gloves, like digging deep down in the piles of clothing, I know I would miss that stuff. So yeah, it's kind of gross. But the last couple times I went to the bins was way early in my pregnancy, like 4 months. So like 5 months ago, 6 months ago. And I just like packed so much sanitizer. If you haven't seen any of my Come Thrift With Me videos, I always say I take my MMS. Is that what it is? My mask, my mace, and my sanitizer. Yeah, I always have those. So anyways, I just felt this in the store and I was like, this feels nice. So this sold for $250.95, and this sold within a week of me posting it. So I really love selling men's fashion. Kind of, I wasn't going to say, I don't want to say more than selling women's fashion, but the great thing about selling to men online, and I'm not trying to generalize, but I have not had a return on a men's item in all of 2020. Now, my return rate is pretty low anyways. It's about 2% on eBay. On Poshmark in the beginning of the year, I was getting like 1 return a month. That's actually slowed down. But men, in my personal, from what I've noticed over the last couple of years, it's very unlikely that they return anything. I don't know why that is. I think they just get things and they just make it work. I don't know, but I really like selling men's fashion because usually once they pay and it's gone, I don't ever hear from them again. I don't know if they're just less picky or what, but I really like selling men's fashion a lot. And I just like having the diversity in my store anyways, so I'm always on the lookout for men's and women's items. So those 4 items totaled $1,000, you guys. And that's all within the last month and a half. So eBay has been great to me. Amazon has been great to me. ThredUp was great to me earlier in 2020. We'll see what happens in 2021. So yeah, it's just been great. I don't know. There's nothing else to say. There's just been great sales. And I just like to share these with you because I feel like a lot of you that are watching are clothing only resellers. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you only sell clothing right now? I'm just curious how much of my audience only sells clothing. I like to film these videos, one, for those of you that maybe only sell clothing, just to like show you, open your eyes. There's so many other things that you can flip, and they're so much easier to photograph and list than clothing. But then also for those of you that do sell everything, just like bolos to keep your eyes out for. I love watching these because that's how I knew, like when I saw that video game card, I had seen it on someone's channel. Because they flip a lot of electronics, DVDs, video game consoles, stuff like that. And I was like, that looks familiar. So yeah, hopefully you find these helpful. Let me know if you do. I think you guys like them, so I'm going to keep doing them. Let me know in the comments down below. You can check out my other eBay videos right here.